Glad to see so many people here today. We have a great program. Christy Bunn, our president, is not here. She had car trouble on the interstate, kind of scary car trouble. So anyway, I'm stepping in for her today. I'm Susie Caffey. I know some of you, not all. So let's get started. Sorry for the delay. First of all, new member, wait, no, that's not first. And forgive me, I'm having to read Christy's agenda on my phone, and it's not quite big enough. Oh, there you are. I didn't know you snuck in. Okay. First of all, thanks to Martha Fulgham for getting the ball rolling and getting our stickers and magnets. So if you don't have one, get one. They're up here and they're so beautiful, just like our signs and our new logo. If you are not already sharing on social media about our show, please share our post on whatever social media you're on. You should have received the newest postcard image in email last week. Even if you're not in the show, please talk it up and share. Yesterday, Kathy Ferris and I went to the Homewood Kiwanis Club and spoke about the show and about our club, and it was really great. It was we didn't know what to expect. They probably had about 30-35 people, and we were kind of overwhelmed by the questions. They were really interested and wanted to hear, what we had to say. So it was really fun. And it's just a way of sharing the love and letting people know not only about the show, but about our club and what we do. And I think one of the greatest things we do is have these meetings with artists who are demonstrating and sharing things with us and sharing with each other. So we were really proud to represent y'all yesterday. Newsletter, if you have any information for the newsletter, and y'all might have to ask me this later, send information for the newsletter to realhoneypaint@gmail.com and mbaa-newsletter@gmail.com. So we love Janet. Where are you? Yeah, that's you. I know you'd love to have people send you things.
We'd love to have someone help out as well. If you're looking for someone to help write, it's simply translating and shortening the news that you send us, because sometimes it's this long and we have this much room.
Hey, I can do that.
I do that. That's what he said in case y'all missed. We really love a real human to do it. Okay, next item on the agenda is please support our local art stores, both Forstall and Alabama Art. They have great in-person workshops. I know many of you have attended or been to, some of you taught them. And let's see what is, rather than ordering online, you can actually go in and see, touch, and hold the art supplies that you may need. I'm reading. And this is important. I think this was the point. Share that you are, if you do go to one of the stores, let them know that you're an MBAA member, because they really do support us, and they support us with door prizes, and we want them to know that we are patronizing them as well. Yes, Janet said they keep track. Membership, Delana handed me this, so I'm gonna read it. Our newest members, and if you're a new member and you're here, would you please stand up? Frances Hand, Mary Floyd, Maria Willingham, and Sarah Barr. They are hiding. Okay. Well, anyway, we are so glad to have 4 new members. That's great. Currently, we have 141 members, which is awesome. Treasurer's report, Charlotte McDavid. Okay. She's not here, and I'm just supposed to say, okay. Okay, Charlotte is not here today, so I'm supposed to share the bank balance, which is, are you ready for this? $14,799.80. Back to the agenda. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Show chairs update. Bev and Beverly. Wow. Yeah, come on. Oh, Beverly's not. There's Beverly. Oh, come on.
Beverly says she has to take notes. Hey, I can do this. I'm gonna do this real quick. Everything's going good. We have had a few hiccups, but I think we're okay. To the artists, and we're gonna send you an email, but I just want to mention it, so that you'll get it twice. Watch for your food order on the email. Post your paintings and show information on social media and share all the other posts. We need to get a buzz going on social media. So, again, and also, if you are not using your own way to charge, the charge for your painting, then, if you don't know how to fill out the sales slip, we were gonna bring a sales slip book and show you how, but forgot it. But we will send you an email and put a picture of that. It's really simple, and I don't think it needs a lot of discussion, but there's certain things you need on it to make sure that you get paid and, that we have a record of everything. So, remember to look at the show guidelines again, about what is acceptable art for the show. And the use of prints and gift items, what percentages you can only have. So, and also appropriateness of the work. I know you worry about y'all here, but there are several things you need to pay attention to, make sure you're not, abiding by the guidelines. So, if you need assistance with your tent, if you're outside, try to come between 9 and noon. My husband will be here probably longer than that, but we'll have 3 people to help you. And my husband will be here so he can help. But I don't know if we're gonna get bombarded with a bunch of people. There's only 3 of us, so, and 1 man. But if you need help, not if you just want help. Okay, if you're participating, if you're doing a painting, volunteer painting, or if you're participating in the floral competition, you need to deliver your painting to City Hall on Friday by 5 p.m. And we will save them here. We can't put them up until Saturday morning, so we're gonna be hustling. So we don't want them to come in Saturday morning. We need to have time to get them all up. On the show day, park as far away as you can. I know if some of you can't walk too far, but as far as you're able to allow more space for visitors.
Question on
And-
that. Is the library parking lot, the lower lot available for us to park in this year?
I don't know, are we supposed to ask them?
Yes.
Really? Make a note of that.
We can assume so, but.
Yeah.
It's nice to double check.
Yeah, okay, we'll ask them. Okay, this is for the volunteers real quick. If you aren't sure about your job, we're gonna pass around a paper that lists by day, all the different activities and who signed up for what. So take a look at that. And we do need a volunteer for, Saturday from 9 to 1 to be a greeter and direct people. So, and I think who said they might do it for part of the day? Oh, no, I don't remember what it was.
I'll do it.
Are you raising your
I
hand?
saw Adelaide will do it.
Okay, great, Adelaide.
not AI, it's Adelaide.
Okay. We also, and we can, I guess, discuss this through email, but someone either on the hospitality committee or someone independent of the hospitality committee. We need someone that can go pick up food. But the food will be prepaid, so no one will have to give their charge card information. So, think about that. Again, be sure to post and share. Yeah, that's it. And we'll send another email reminder next week.
Great, thank you.
Oh, one other thing, real quick. Would all the volunteers stand up?
Yeah.
And that's not even a problem. We're so thankful. We just had a lot of response to the volunteer.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Next is Kathy Prince. Kathy, I didn't give you much preparation, but Kathy's going to talk to us about an opportunity for artists in October. They want to come up? Are you okay?
Yeah. So y'all, can y'all hear me okay? So this is not a Mountain Brook Art Association event. I never want to abuse my membership here, but I do feel like as artists, we're always out looking for opportunities to show our work. And Trestle has a new art association that I'm involved with called Arts Trestle. We had an art show last year. It was very successful. And this year we have an opportunity to have an art show in the Trestle Entertainment District, which if anyone has seen it, it's a really great venue. There's restaurants and bars and a lot of traffic through there on a weekend. And they have a sound stage and a pavilion for entertainment. And that weekend will be a bluegrass festival supporting the Children's Hospital. And so we want to get together an art show. We have permission and the support of the city to block off 3 streets around the entertainment district. So we're in the process of figuring out how many tents that will allow, but it will be a tent event where you have to bring your own 10 by 10 tent and set up. It's just a 1-day event from like set up around 9 in the morning and go until 5 in the evening. But we think it'll be a great opportunity to get your work out there and get seen in the Trestle area. So we have a website, artstrestle.org. The application should be coming up on that website this week. So if you want to apply, the date is October 13th. It's a Sunday. So we hope you will look into it. Okay.
Martha, you ready?
Hey, thank y'all for bearing with us today. We're kind of winging it with a few things because of circumstances. So, but I'm so glad all y'all came today. And this is our last meeting for the spring. We will have our show, we'll have a board meeting, whenever the board meeting is. It's in May, right after the show. Yeah, sorry. And, we're so glad to have whoever's going to be in the show because it's going to be a great one, and y'all do promote it. It's much needed. And I don't know, Janet, if you.
Well, 5 minutes will do me.
Okay, I'm gonna let Janet talk about these screens real quick because I think she set them up for us to see. But I'm gonna do that just a minute, and I'm gonna go ahead and set.
Set this up for those of you who are inside, and some of you have never been in a show. So this is essentially a half space. It's 2 3x6 screens. You can see, and we can't guarantee it's gonna be these double screens. I mean, this sits on top. Sometimes they're one piece, sometimes they're already covered. I have from many past holiday shows, a stack of this, what's this called? Felt, in different colors, but it really makes a difference. And we really want you to have some kind of covering on your screen. to highlight your art. To have a nice painting on that, it's not gonna highlight your art at all. You need something so you're not seeing through to the backside of, you might be on the backside of another artist and you can be seeing the other artist's backside of the painting. So you need to be aware of that. And I can't guarantee that all the felt I've got will be enough for everybody, but there's quite a bit. And the felt is surprisingly getting tougher to stick a pin in because they've coated it somehow. So you might want to bring scissors or something. We hang everything with these types of, these little tiny drapery hooks that are sharp on one side and not on the other, although some of the drapery hooks now are not even sharp on this end. It'd be nice to have it sharp. Yeah, surprisingly, it's like, how's a drapery hook when it's not sharp? But another thing to look at is that if you've got, and you'll see on this, if you've got the scissor type backing, the alligator hooks on the back, do not work real well hanging on here. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. If you turn the hooks around, sometimes you can get them to, so sometimes what we use is just simply a piece of wire or a paper hook, to hang them. So that has always been a problem because and we learned a lot through all the holiday shows that we had, that a lot of people's paintings were hitting the floor because they weren't really, they were just kind of hanging on it. And we hate to have you break your painting or whatever your frame when it hits the floor. So you got to make sure it's secure. It's hard to keep them straight, obviously. But maybe a rolled up piece of tape on the back will help it secure and from being crooked. There's enough light in this room right now. Some of you are in the front room, which gets pretty good light in that room. But this room, depending on the time of day and whether it's cloudy, can get a little dark. And these are on as bright as you can. And you absolutely need to think about lighting. I guess we're already running electrical power to the middle people here. And there's plenty of hooks or electrical outlets, but plan on having some kind of light. I forgot a light bulb, so I can't demonstrate. These are $5 at the hardware store. And some of them kind of lean depending on what kind you've got, or you can put them on the side, but these work really well. And then these are, you can get these LED lighting, and some of them are on batteries. Mine are on plugs. And the battery now, because they're LED, lasts a long time, but I would come with extra batteries if you got that. But you can get these, a lot of them, I think I got this one at Office Depot. But don't wait till the last, and don't wait till the last minute to get them, but, and if you can, look for, not daylight, but, 3000, is the Kelvin, I guess it's called, which is a more natural light. Daylight, sometimes changes some of the colors in your paintings, kind of bluish. Don't want that. So 4,000 and 5,000 is a little too much. And I know you didn't mention, but if you're planning on for your outside tents on having water jugs, don't wait to the last minute to buy those, because they will be cleaned out at the local stores. The 2.5 gallon ones, which are I think 20 pounds, are the best kind to get if that's what you're relying on. But again, don't wait to go to the Piggly Wiggly across the street, because they'll be sold out. Yes.
Well, I'm actually borrowing, like renting a tent from somewhere, and it's in this position to not. But anyway, so I don't know what you're writing, I don't know what you mean about the water, like you're talking about to weigh it down.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And just renting a tent, you also have to be aware you have to have weights.
Okay, so I'll ask about that, and then you're just talking about lighting if you're indoors, correct? You wouldn't do that outside.
Although we've had some artists, Melanie O'Keefe in particular, who ran lighting in her booth off of marine batteries, and it was gorgeous. It really highlighted it, so it's up to you. But the other thing is, don't usually need it, but boy, her stuff looks really good. Especially if you have a darker darker panel. I think that's enough.
Okay,
Any-
yeah.
no questions?
Any questions about the show edible? Anybody have any questions about the show? We're gonna talk more about shows in general in a minute. Yes, Jeannie?
Were y'all gonna give us the 3-copy receipt books?
Yeah.
Were y'all gonna hand those out today? Or do you know?
You don't usually provide them.
I think I can, you bring your own,
The receipt.
I think, don't you? Is that right?
Provide-
And what, it needs to be it needs to be a 3-part receipt.
Yeah.
She asked about the receipt books, if we were handing them out. And, okay. bring it up. We're bringing our own, right?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
I'm hard of hearing. You bring your own 3-part, has three sheets. It's a 3-part receipt, sales receipt.
You can get them anywhere.
And you can get them, I think even at Walmart, but Office Depot, you know. But, we're gonna send an email that shows how to fill it out, copy of one filled out. But as long as it's a 3-part, because you give the, Janet, you give the top one to.
If this going to our
Right,
hospitality,
this-
we
you'll
keep
use-
the top one.
yeah. You'll use this if you want your customer to charge the painting here in the building here with the club machine. But otherwise, it's good if you have your own way to take a charge from somebody. But if you don't, they'll need to come in here. And that's when you need to do a 3-part receipt so that the customer gets one, the club gets one, and the customer keeps one.
Sorry, I'm probably gonna ask a lot of questions today. This is only my second show and first time here. But, do we have, could you hear me or, sorry?
I can't hear a word.
Okay.
you're saying.
I'm sorry. This is probably I'm probably gonna ask a lot of questions today, so please forgive me. But, does everyone have to have a receipt book? Like every person? I do have my own little personal payment thing. Do I need one?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Because
So
we
you said
don't,
no,
well,
since it
Wait,
is
you
covered.
just said that you didn't need it if you were taking your own payment.
well,
reason, I'm sorry.
yeah.
The only reason is for taxes, you have to add up how much you.
But she has her own system.
Yes.
No, unless you have to sell something through the hospital.
But I like to use a receipt book for my own purposes.
Yes, but she doesn't have to bring that if she's taking her own payments
Correct.
and handling her own accounting. She doesn't have to bring that 3-ply thing.
If you don't want a copy of the paper, I know you'll get a receipt with.
Only if you're taking payment here with everybody else.
Okay.
I feel like a translator. As long as I can kind of, bounce back and forth from hard hearing,
Okay, there was one other, we'll take one other question, and we're gonna get started with our panel. Yes.
Is there a Norton oral competition this year?
Well, it's not Norton, we send out emails about all
Okay, I
that.
guess I missed that.
Yeah, just, go back in your past emails and look for
And it's
oral
On the
competition.
Facebook page as well, it's Lisa Bailey Designs.
Oh, okay.
And we took pictures, it was at one of our meetings.
Right, so it's already been shown.
Yeah.
Right. But we did put pictures on the Facebook page for people to use to paint from.
It's gorgeous, you want to paint.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and.
Okay.
One more
One more
thing
thing.
for new people, perhaps. When you sell, anything, you will need to write 3 separate checks before you leave the premises. One to the state of Alabama, one to Jefferson County, and one to Mountain Brook. And we'll have that all written out for you for which percentage goes to each. And that's why, for me, I have to have that in writing. I don't do it so much on the computer, but you've got to keep track of how much you sold. So that's the thing, if you didn't know about those 3 checks.
Okay, that clears, hope that clears everything up. If not, you could probably, I guess, email y'all or. And talk in fellowship time. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with our panel discussion, and I'm gonna ask Dee and Amy and Ron and Michael and Amy and Carol. To come up and find your little place card and where you're sitting. If that's too glaring, you can. It's too glaring.
It is pretty glaring.
See here.
Okay, while
Nope.
everybody's getting situated. While everybody's getting situated, we're gonna have refreshments and we're gonna, do them at the end, but I may stop a minute and say go ahead with refreshments because, we're gonna run short of time. So let's get started. We're gonna, what we're gonna do, I've got a few questions that I'm gonna pose to the panel. And ask for just one or two of them to respond. I think they can kind of decide between them who would like to respond. But, and then we can take y'all's questions, okay? Because I think I've addressed most of the questions most people would have. And I'm gonna have to pass the mic thing going on. It's on. Okay, Amy's got something to say about the receipt books.
Okay, good, and it's on, right? Yes. Hear me? Okay, so the receipt books are good to have, so I would suggest getting them for multiple reasons. You can put your customer's name, ask for their email and their address if you want to write a thank you note to them, which is nice. And it's, for me, if you do multiple shows, it's nice to, at the end of the year, I put the name of the show and the date, obviously, so you know if you're doing Mount Brook show or you're somewhere else, Bub Park or whatever. And you can tally up what you do, you know, for your history to see what shows worked for you, what didn't. But then you've also got your customer information right there. And then for tax purposes, you know, tallying it up at the end is, I would suggest getting them. You don't have to get them, but I don't know how y'all feel, but I think they're important to have. And I keep the top copy for me. I know Janet said y'all want it, but sometimes people don't write very well and you can't read their information on the third copy. So, you know, I tend to keep the white copy because that's what I can read the best, and, you know, you can always give the information to Mountain Brook and they know what they've spent, but I need information, don't write. So anyway, that's it.
Just hold it.
Oh, it's not too.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
Well, I've kept a art show ledger for years, and just go to any place that has little ledger books with one or two columns on it. You can write down put down the painting that I sold. They keep up with that. You can put down the person's name, put down whether it's a cash or check. If you're ever audited, that little book is going to be the first thing that the auditor is going to want to look at, because that's book of first entry. So just keep it simple. Just write down your sale. If they want a receipt, give it to them. If they don't worry about it.
Have you ever been audited?
No. I got a really good accountant. Really, that's the number one thing. Have a good accountant that knows about these things. But I have been audited, but it wasn't because of art shows. But just get you a simple little book. You can just get a little 3-ring binder or something. It doesn't matter. I mean, just keep it right.
And I think one reason I like that idea, Amy's idea, I use Square. So my
Use
Square.
the microphone, we'll get it on the
Yeah,
recording.
use the microphone and hold it right up to your mouth.
One reason I like Amy's idea is I use Square. So that Square sends my customers a receipt. But I like her idea for getting the emails on that, because before a show like next year, if you sell something to so-and-so, you can send that person an email before your next show and say, hey, come see me. I'm going to be at the Mountain Brook Art Association show because I'm really bad. And you'll get busy sometimes. And, you know, like if customers write, you know, coming up right after each other, but that's great to have their emails, because that's where I fall short sometimes is, you know, thinking, hey, you want to give me your email? So doing that sales receipt, I like that. I've never done that before, but thank you, Amy.
And I said one other thing about this. I keep the email, but I keep a list by city. So if I go to Huntsville, I have my Huntsville email list. I have a Birmingham email list, Montgomery email list, Nashville email list. So, the next time I go to a show there, I send out that list. And, that's where you're gonna get your first sales.
Okay. This is why I picked this panel, y'all. These people have done our show forever and other shows, and they know a lot about doing them. So thanks so much for your input. Okay, I'm gonna ask a quick question. It's not gonna be a simple answer because it's the $1 million question, but number of people ask me and others, I'm sure, about pricing. So, what would you recommend to help artists learn how to price their work? And I know that's a loaded question, but your thoughts, maybe one at a time, keep it kind of brief so we can get to some other questions if you can. Sum it up into.
Well, I was told years ago, don't overprice your work. Number one, because you won't have any room to go up, okay? But I do the, square inch price, and I think that's always been a really good tool for me. My husband, if he liked a painting, he always wanted me to maybe add a little something to it, and I never did that. It was like his richer price. But anyway, I would recommend a square inch price just because it just keeps it safe, and you just end up not getting too much emotion into the piece of work. I remember Joan Curtis's program where she said, don't ever feel like your work is so precious that you can't part with it.
Well, I would say that's the hardest thing for me to do is pricing. You can judge the time you spend in it, the complication of it. A lot of times, I was doing 30 shows a year at one point a couple of years ago. And I don't know whether artists do this, but sometimes I adjust the prices based on the market I'm in, because your art's market driven. We do really big shows, high-end shows, then you do shows in maybe smaller communities, which are not quite as affluent. And I adjusted somewhat. Also, and this is maybe a bad topic for some people. This day and age, with the economy the way it is, you may have to haggle with people about your price. And I'm not afraid to do that. If it's somebody, especially if it's a good client or a customer that I've sold to before, if they want to get me to come down a little bit, I will do that. But I think you have to, I don't have a formula for pricing, and I probably should. When I had sentimental value, I was painting things from my childhood or whatever. And it was really hard to let them go. Man, I don't want to sell that. You have to pay the rent. And so I got used to that, but it's a hard thing. And I think you have to use your own judgment based on how much time you spend on the art, what it is. I do watercolor and I do acrylic. I tend to price my watercolor higher than the acrylic, which is, it's more difficult. But that's maybe not a good thing, because watercolor is hard as opposed to oil or acrylic. A lot of customers like art they can buy, take it home and put it on the wall, and not have to deal with the frame and the glass and that sort of thing. So it's a judgment call, and I think as you do shows, you'll learn your own system. It just takes time, and I don't know to help Jenny, but
I agree with everything they've said. I kind of do price mine per square inch too. If you do have something you just love, just keep it or hang on to it till the next show, because it's gonna be hard to have the same size pieces and different prices. And if you're not doing this show, I'd look at the prices of people doing to you, so you can kind of say, this is, kind of roughly what they're going for. And then, just get the square inch price and kind of go from there. You have to be happy. I mean, we're rarely compensated for the time we put in. We're already making $4 an hour or something, but Michael's right, you gotta pay the rent. Oh, yeah, do look at the show and, you know, the more shows you do and where they are, it's not necessary being affluent. I feel like sometimes it's the personality of the show and the reputation of the show. And one other thing that you didn't touch on, if you're in a shop or a gallery and you're doing a show in the same city, you can drop your prices a little bit, but you can't, you know, you might only be getting, depending on where you are, 40% the gallery, or might get 50% or 40%, or if you're lucky, 30, but usually, you know, if it's half price, you can't drop your prices halfway. It's not fair to the gallery that's in the city that you are, because it looks like you're undercutting them. So just keep that in mind. You know, I'm okay with like 20%. So, and then you can negotiate with, if you have somebody that loved your work, they just can't afford it, and you just want to see them have it, you're free to, you know, do whatever. They buy multiple pieces, but, so that's everything else. I agree with what you said.
What I tell my students is when you're starting out, price your work maybe $10 an inch on the big side. If it's 14 by 20, then $140. And if they sell quickly, raise your prices. If they don't sell, lower it. The gallery I dealt with in New Orleans would raise the price of their artist work until it didn't sell. Then they would drop back down. Selling something, you're gonna have to figure out for yourself how much you think it's worth and what you can get for it. What do you think? You sell it.
I don't really have anything, I don't think, to add to what they said, but I agree with Ron. If you're just starting out as an artist, I would not put your prices too high. I would probably buy on the side of, you know, maybe $45 for a 5x5 or something. Is that too much? But you know, just like if you can, I really don't have anything else to add, but if anybody wants to, I don't mind sending you my price list. I do think I charge more per square inch for small ones than I do large. I'm not sure why, but I do personally. But if you want my email, and I'll send you my price list, but my email is Carol, C-A-R-O-L, Carmike, C-A-R-M-I-K @att.net. And I'll send you my price list if you want to have something to compare, because it lists all the different sizes that I sell and what I charge.
Is it on your website?
It's not on my website.
Well, can I say something about that? Cause like, one thing that I knew, this is my first show, and I'm probably gonna have a GoFundMe page. Help with how much money I've spent to be in this show. But, I think like for watercolor people like me, you also have to add in your framing costs, because our stuff is paper, so we have to frame everything. So that is what was so challenging for me, is I've got to find a frame and a mat that looks good, but doesn't, you know, I didn't custom frame everything in my show because it would have been ridiculous. But yeah, that's something else to think about, because a lot of y'all, you know, do oils and you don't even have to frame it. It's beautiful just hanging there. But framing is a whole nother ballgame.
I do a lot of watercolors, so.
Yeah.
But I frame my own.
Well, I have,
So-
yes, and I have a
But,
dear,
Yeah, you could figure the price of your painting and add the frame to it.
yes, and that's what I've learned. The
Because
way
if
that
you're
that's
getting
my
custom
parents
framing,
taught
it's
me.
very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, I would frame maybe 4 nice pieces and put the rest in a portfolio.
Well, I don't think that's against the rules though here.
It was,
Because our rules say that, only a fourth of your work, everything has to be framed if it's painted, unless it's a print. And the guidelines, yeah.
No, the guidelines, you don't have to frame your paintings.
It says it's
Yeah,
something
that's-
about
that's
paint.
what it says, but I think we've all discussed it. We do need to change it. You can put them in plastic covers.
Yeah, that's what I've done with my prints, but,
Either
oh, well.
matted or not matted.
Oh, okay, oh, I've already framed everything.
Oh.
Okay.
Let me make one more comment.
I have a comment about framing too. There are a couple of wholesale framing shops that you could, join as an artist and get the frames for much less than people get them. And maybe you can mark the frame up even it that way. Yeah,
So I do oil painting, but I frame 90%.
yeah,
But I
cash
get-
molding, cash molding.
Cash molding, there are
You
places.
gotta have a tax number.
Yeah.
So,
I can't go to cash, cause I don't have.
You can. Business license, you might wanna get some.
that
I
was-
can?
They'll sell them without a tax number.
You'll be charged tax.
Really? Oh, yeah, I love cash.
I'm here.
Okay, that
Okay.
cash molding,
Yes.
is that Birmingham?
Yes, they are in Homewood on
you-
Oxmoor.
Okay, area, Oxmoor area. And you do not have to have a tax number.
You'll just pay the tax.
They will charge you tax.
They'll charge you.
You have a tax
They're not ready-made, you would, they sell to frame shop, so you
Yeah.
go look at the stick price and they charge you to put it together, but it's a lot cheaper than going to the frame shop. And then there's JFM in Atlanta, but I can send that later, but what I was gonna say is, I have people that'll say, well, how much is it without the frame? And I just don't sell them without the frame, because I tell them, I frames wholesale, they cannot, if they were gonna buy it, it would be probably 3 times what I pay for it, so I'm just saying, I wouldn't, if somebody asks you, I'd just say it nicely, but just say,
Well, I framed them like a framing shop. I mean, they're done with linen tape, so I can't take it apart. It would.
well, I wouldn't take it
No.
apart, I mean, I
I
wouldn't
would
take it,
never
because
do that.
I don't carry my framing tools with me or anything like that,
Yeah.
so I'd just say, it's.
Anybody got any suggestions on what types of frames? I've lost some sales because the people liked the painting, but they hated the frame. And I've even had comments, it's beautiful, keep that frame. Should we just go with simple, black and white, because I try to make the frames, the appropriate.
Go simple, the simpler the better, and sometimes somebody doesn't like the frame, again, and I say, you can reframe it, I pay wholesale for these frames, and I'm not gonna take them out of frame, I'm just not gonna do that. If you paid $50 for a frame, I feel like if you like the painting that much, just go get it reframed, you'll probably pay $150 for the frame, but, that's my opinion, so. Sometimes I think people say that just to kind of get out of or get you to give them a really better price. I mean, you get, some of the people just try to do that, and I just feel like it's not really fair to you as an artist, so. That's.
Another question, about just engaging people in your booth, and how much of that do you do? Do you just let them look? I've always struggled with Element, and can y'all just quickly address that? This, unless one person can probably. But what do you, Ron, do you engage with them, or do you just
Sure,
let
smile
them?
at them and tell them, hi, can I help you?
And do you, when you sell, you want to get their email address and all this, so you can follow up later. But, I wonder about that, because some people, you don't want to bother them, or chase them off, so you just sit back usually, y'all?
No, you engage with them, and, one thing, talk about your painting instead of yourself.
Yeah.
Tell them about, if they're looking at a painting, tell them about the painting. What you did, what kind of work you put into it, and so forth, what it is, where it is. And, that's the first thing. But as far as the framing, if somebody doesn't want the frame, I take off what I put into it, which is very little most of the time. And so most of the time it'll take the front too.
That's a good strategy. Okay, anybody else have anything to that?
Well, I'll just talk, I mean, it is you feel kind of weird. You're on display, it's your work, it's really personal. So I've kind of found that I don't like to sit inside my tent, and that's hard sometimes because you don't have a great space. I've got my tent set up now that I have a door in the back. So I kind of, sit right behind I sit right behind the door. So I'm not inside the tent. I mean, everybody has their different strategies, but just me personally, I like people to be able to look for a little bit. And if I see that they seem interested in my work, and then I'll stay close. I might be kind of right across from my tent a few feet. But, and then I'll go in there and say, hey, I'm Carol, and, I can, be happy to answer any questions. And one thing I've heard, I don't really know what my answer is, but they said, instead of just somebody compliments your work, don't just say, well, thank you, which I do all the time, but try to think of another question that keeps them engaged. Well, like, well, are you interested in any certain piece? Or are you looking for a, particular spot in your house? Or, just try to talk to them a little bit, but it's hard. You feel weird because it's you on display, so it's super personal. So,
Yeah, and I'm the same way, because I'm not an outgoing kind of person like that either, but you have to engage them somehow. And you can tell if they're just browsing, they're gonna move right on but everybody's painting has stories, and so I agree with Ron, you need to talk about what it is. If they're really looking at one piece, if they're seeing it in front of the wall, you just say, well, first ask, can you help them with anything? If they say, no, I'm just looking, say, well, what's your favorite piece on that wall? I mean, something to just kind of get a conversation going, because, I mean, I feel like 75% of the time, if you tell them about your work, you're engaging them. They might have never not bought that painting, but they will buy it. And I'm the same way. If I'm buying a painting, it might not have been my favorite painting in the show. It might not have, been my favorite artist, but if I talk to the artist, I like the artist. I want to support them. I like their work. I will, I mean, that all helps to get your artwork sold. So, yeah.
I think it's very important to connect with them. A lot of people are bashful around artists. They don't know. You see, I've seen them, they'll stand outside the booth and look, and they'll say, they don't know how to talk. So engage them, find out what they're interested in. And like Ron said, tell them about the painting. If there's something they're looking at, something connects with that painting with them. Find out what that is. And this is kind of a flip story. Somebody's always saying, where is that? And I'll say, where do you want it to be? There's something about it that seems familiar to them. A lot of my paintings are just out of my head. They're not anywhere in particular. And you can explain that. One of the good things about art shows, one of the things I like about it, is connecting with customers. You find out what they like and what they don't like. I mean, you'll have somebody walk in your booth and look around, stomp out like, well, that's fine. That's art's an emotional buy. And if they're interested in something, and they may come back a couple of times looking at that same painting, talk to them, find out what they like, tell them what it's about. And you can connect with them. Art is a thing that it's emotional for the artist, it's emotional for the customer. I hear so many good stories from talking to customers. It'll make them open up about, that looks like my grandfather's old house, whatever. And you can use that to sell a painting. And it's fun. So that's one of the pluses of doing an art show.
I don't have anything else to contribute. I mean, they said it all, but it is the way to connect with your customer. And there's really no better way. I mean, if you're in a gallery, it's rare that you meet that person that buys your art. So. Yes.
One thing that's worked for me at a few shows is to have a second person, because I think another person every time has sold my work better than I can, because they're standing up, I kind of quiet, and then they'll say, didn't he do a good job on this? Or, or do you want to know the story behind this? And it works a lot better if you've got a front man.
And it depends on who that front man is. My husband will come to an art show, and if someone is coming in the tent, he will say, I know you find this hard to believe, but everything in here is for sale.
I'm fortunate to have my wife we work as a team pretty much. She's pretty much the bookkeeper that runs the website and everything else, but she's a much better salesperson than I am. I'm not really outgoing a lot. But she can get in there and really work the customer, find out what they're looking for, and sometimes she'll make a deal with them, maybe not around. It's good to have somebody there. That's a good point. She's a big help to me. I couldn't do it without her. She has a good eye, and she's good with customers. I'm more standoffish, I guess, some people. But anyway, sums up, it's good to connect with. They like it, customers like it, and it's, you know, you make a friend. They were talking about email lists. We leave an email sign-up sheet on our table. Even if they don't buy anything, we encourage them to send an email and we connect with them. And especially their buying customers, we have over 30 years, we've built up a pretty good clientele of regular customers in Georgia and Alabama and down on the Gulf Coast. And we contact them if we're having a show or we have a new painting, and it's sold a lot of paintings for us. Sometimes we could be having a slow show and that one customer comes in and sells 2 or 3 paintings. They've been real loyal, and that's a good thing. They like that. We don't bug them with emails. We just let them know we've got a show coming up and giving them a personal invitation. I think that's important.
And Martha?
Yes.
Add a little something, I know I'm not on the panel, but, especially for a new artist, one thing I did on the first tent show that I did, and it was the first time I had filled a tent and did that. I did a small painting, put it on a small easel and said free drawing. And I had slips there for people to fill out their email address to put it in a jar. And it was a great way to collect a bunch of email addresses. And I drew one and called the person. They were thrilled to death. And it was just like a 5x7. But it was a really successful. So,
Yeah, that is. One other thing I thought of, y'all can put a little bio, not long, but like with your picture, right when they come in the booth. So a lot of times people will read that. Because again, yeah, they might be nervous talking to the artist. They know they don't want to buy anything, or they think they don't, and they might read your bio, but that's another way to approach them and say, I mean, put something interesting, why you paint, what you like to paint, when you started, you know, something, and anything you can do to connect with them. So even if they're sitting there reading the bio or standing up there, hang it up like eye level somewhere when they first get in the booth. And then just walk up to them and kind of reiterate whatever's in your bio to just get a conversation started. That's the main thing. So.
And sometimes just handing them your card.
Yeah.
Before they leave.
I was just thinking about business cards, because how can you get it? There's a lot of people that may not have money at this show, but they really like your work, and they might have money in the future to buy something. So when I first started doing art shows, I did get cards, but I made the mistake of putting cards like on a table, and kids or everybody would, I mean, some people think they're making you feel better, saying, well, can I have your card? I'm like, yeah, here. You know, but what I would do is not just put cards on a table. I would put them in your pocket. And if somebody asks you for a card, give them a card, because these cards, I use the little mini moo cards from that company MOO, and they're really cute and they're kind of expensive. So I don't want to just give them away, you know, as little door prizes. So if you do cards, I would suggest keeping them tucked away somewhere. Don't just have them out on a table for people to take something home.
Stick them in your mind.
Yeah, but people have reached out to me before, you know, 4 months later and said, I remember your work and I want to do something now. So I do think business cards could be a good idea, but just try to avoid people just taking them, just thinking they're being nice by taking your card.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for anyone else who wants to ask a question. Just raise your hand.
I have a
Answer.
question. How many people in here are gonna first time showing at this show? Wow. That's a wow.
yeah.
Well, you should have questions.
Jeannie, did you
This is your time.
Yeah.
We've all experienced.
I think Jeannie had her hand up.
I'm math illiterate, so. How do you figure the different taxes, the different amounts that you're gonna get out of our sales? Are we to do that, and you give us how does that work
There'll
today?
be a form that it shows you exactly what to do, because I would have to.
Does it come in our
It'll be in your
packet or
packet.
something?
Yes.
In your
Okay,
packet.
thank you.
I'm math illiterate,
It's
too,
pretty
and it's easy. It's not hard.
It's not hard.
Anything else?
We have to be honest. Our king had a larger painting leaning against a stool or something.
Shouldn't Chairman answer that one? Does every painting have to be hung? Where's Jan?
No.
Or can it be leaning when it's in here? Hung so people can walk through, because it will be tight space, and you don't want somebody to kick it over or something, or kid come in and. Yeah, so you want your booth to be, where you can maneuver around in it. I don't know if that answers. You can put like a little easel, one little easel on a table or something like
I
that.
think most of them need to be hung. I think they look nice. People don't have to bend over. And they're, they can see it better. And,
No, go ahead.
I keep a portfolio box.
Yeah.
I've got just a little box that small paintings will fit in. You can put them in there and just stack them up. They like rumbling through, thinking they're finding something special.
The discount clearance.
They're not necessarily, I mean,
I know it's not.
you've only got so much room to hang.
It's that
So,
opportunity.
yeah. And if you leave it at home, you're not gonna sell it. So get it out and show it. That's
Did you have
my
something else to
philosophy.
add to what you were saying?
just gonna say, you can still put a piece or two on an easel. If you're outside of the tent, you've got room.
I'm gonna be inside,
Yes.
so I understand I have to basically do those animals.
Okay.
And I've done a Christmas show, so I'm sure it's similar to a Christmas show. We will have a chair, and will we have a table, it's a small table, or you just? Because I'm concerned about the space we have.
Yeah, we are very limited on space inside, well, outside too, really, but, inside you can bring one table. We will have chairs located near your booth, but you probably won't have room for one in your booth. If you need to take a break and sit down, but it's where you can see your booth. But you can bring like a small table, no
Like a
bigger than a
TV break table.
no bigger than a 2x2, maybe just a 1.5 by 1.5, just a small table that won't be in the way too much. So, yeah. But, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Everything else come, all the other arts will come.
I would say so. I don't know why you wouldn't want to hang. I mean, I just think it looks neater and it looks, you can see it.
Right, that's.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, are you calling me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Sorry.
sorry,
Yes.
I have a list. Okay, how do I know I've read all the rules and they do say bring cash. So do y'all think a lot of people use cash? Do I really need a lot of cash?
No,
So would you say no, I don't have to have cash?
I wouldn't do that.
I'd rather not have cash.
A little bit, but not a lot. Like a 5 to 10, I've seen 5 to 10 for.
Okay, so maybe there might be one or two.
It might depend on how
Maybe
you
some
price.
older people work, just use cash. Okay, what about?
Stand up so we can hear.
Stand up and.
Okay. All right, do I need, like I have some small items, do you think I need bags? Do people say, do you have a bag?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
just like grocery sacks that I can order cheap on Amazon?
Yeah.
I don't need like a
Honestly,
paper.
you can go to Amazon and get clear, small bags with just like a little.
Yeah,
hole
that's what
cut.
I was thinking.
Yeah, like a 12 by 12. or
Okay,
something.
so that would be
Good
good.
variety
I do
too.
that.
Lynn, were you gonna address that?
Yes, you do watercolor.
I do.
I just buy bubble and wrap it up for leaves. So that, because you've got the glass. in front,
Right,
Just the little bubble wrap
okay,
and wrap it around it and then they just,
that's a great idea. And tape it, okay, okay, good, all right.
I'll tell you this, on Amazon, you can order the mats with the clear sleeves.
Yeah, I've got clear sleeves for prints and things, but
But that suffices as a bag.
it does, yeah, okay.
Just
Right.
use a garbage bag.
Well,
Really, I keep a box of them in my,
yeah,
It's,
box. And,
You can
they
get
want a
clear
bag.
garbage bags.
Yeah,
They're
you can
large.
get,
okay,
uh,
okay, all right. Okay, so we have to be ready to go, like all set up by 8:30, is that right? And so how early, on Friday, when we're here to set up our tent, how early can we come? Like,
pretty
much as early as you wanna come.
Okay.
Now, if you come at 4 in the morning, the policeman comes.
No.
But if you wanna come at 7 or.
Okay,
you
so
know,
I
or
could
if you
come
wanna
that early if
later
I
in the
wanted
day,
to.
you can.
Okay,
Just depends on
okay.
you.
And I think y'all said something about this on the website, but like where our tent is gonna go, is it taped off or are we kind of guessing? It
It'll be
is
marked.
marked.
It'll be marked.
Okay,
with
that's
chalk
good.
paints.
And
So-
in our packet that we pick up that morning, there's a, in there a little sign that has our
Right.
names that we
Yeah.
put on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
and
packet will
what do we
have,
need to hang that with?
You can. Drapery, you can hang it with some kind of clip or the curtain.
And just put it on the top of
Drapery
front of your
fronts,
tent?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the front,
Tape, okay,
kind of put it on the front of your tent, just up on the top part.
okay,
And, on the inside, I'll be putting them on the booth areas because we want them to be kind of consistent where they are. And, so we'll do that like Friday night, Friday afternoon, you know, before y'all come in Saturday.
okay,
But the
good,
outdoor tent, you can put that one on your, you can do that yourself.
okay.
But, your packet will have,
Okay, that's,
an information sheet, there'll be an information sheet on the front of your packet, and it'll tell you all about the taxes. And, then there'll be your sign, there'll be the handout that everybody gets when they visit. What else is in
Is
there?
it name tag?
Oh, name tag, yeah, name tag, okay.
great,
So,
thank you.
Hey, Beverly, I have a question. This section over here, the booths that are in the street over here. How early are they gonna block off this?
Yeah, cause that's where I am.
on Thursday,
No, Friday, right,
on the street,
yeah, street,
yeah, they're supposed to have it blocked off Thursday night.
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We actually met with the city leaders
Yeah.
about that, because it was a problem last year.
And I'm getting ready to send them another, timeline list of, and they've sent it before, we've sent it to them already, send it to them again.
It's a question in the back. Did you have?
Yes, sorry.
Speak up.
Okay, so I have a few also, if that's okay.
Yeah.
What would y'all do for tags? How would you put your tag and make it, and where would you put it? You know, like for pricing, the art itself and that whole thing.
I just use the little bitty stick-on
Uh-huh.
pricers. I don't put title or anything on the painting. I just put the price on it.
Okay,
And if they want a title, then I tell them what it is.
you just kind of stick it right on the art somewhere.
Either on the art or the frame. You don't want something that's, gonna leave a mark on the painting,
Right.
but, you can get those at, any kind of office supply place.
Does anybody feel real differently than that, or?
I do put the names of mine because they're kind of important and comes to mind, and the price, and I use but you could do this without going to this extreme, but there's those perforated, business cards that, and I print out like a, whatever you call this sheet, you know, and numbers or whatever, and I can print them all and they're perforated, and then I just tape them to the back of my, if you're looking at my painting, so it's taped, but it's here, all kind of in the same place, like the lower, you know, look at, yeah. And so it does have the, I do have the name, but I also, I'm really terrible with numbers, and if I didn't have it, something on there, and somebody said, well, how much is this one? And I'd be like, let me get my sheet, because I can just never remember.
I use mailing labels, and I take a part of that and fold it back, stick that on the back of the front.
I just thought of that.
And so I print the mailing labels out, and then when I get there, I put them all on the thing.
I wonder if you could even put it on like the cloth, the satin.
It doesn't stay.
Doesn't stay.
Yeah,
Very
I've run into that, those problems over
Okay.
the years.
Okay, sure. And then, for hanging, like I was told that you need to put wiring on most of your canvases. And then if it's a framed thing and it has those little
Sawtooth.
clips, Yes, is that enough? Usually for the average?
It is, but they're harder to hang.
Okay, so maybe get some wire and whatever.
I would wire.
Okay.
And also, if you use the wire, use two hooks, and then you won't have the problem with some of your, because they'll keep shifting all day long. So
Okay.
use two hooks on the wire, you can get it to stay put.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess my final question comes back to the pricing thing, which I know. So I've tried to Google that and ask a few other people and whatnot, and it seems like there's a huge variety of answers, obviously. But I like, and I agree with, it makes sense, like, if it's, I have some things that are small but framed, this can be very different price per square inch than the larger. But, if you were going, I just wondered if anybody would be willing to say, like, if you were a newer person, and again, this is only my second, show, and you did the price per square inch, not necessarily for the framed, or maybe you could give me two different ideas for framed on papers and for canvases. What would you do? And I didn't fully understand which one, how you were describing it. The way I've seen it before is like 12 by 12, like 12 times 12 times something.
144. Right. Times the per square, whatever you figure out.
So yeah, like $1 or less,
Yeah.
or a little
It's
more.
$1, it's 144.
Right,
It's $2, it's 288.
Would anyone be willing to say what they might suggest for this show for someone that's kind of newer, like a 12 by 12, so 144 times what? Would anyone be willing to say that or not? I mean, I know it's not a blanket, I'm just wondering.
Is that true? Go ahead, Michael. No.
Maybe as a new artist, just to make sure you can sell it and then you build up your reputation. If it was a 12 by 12, I wouldn't ask $144. I would probably think about maybe asking $225, something like that. Just maybe $1.50 per square inch. Just as a start, and hopefully you'll be able to do then up to $2 per square inch for smaller things. It's really hard. Pricing's tough. It's just a guessing game, but I wouldn't underprice things too. I've seen people at shows that have really nice stuff and they were asking nothing for it. And some people might think, well, why are they only asking $40 for this? They must not be good. So there's a tightrope that you all. But what,
They're all gone.
I mean,
Thank you.
Okay. One quick question, we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Minutes.
It might not be super quick, but, I was hoping to do the show last year and I had a medical, situation and this may not be possible at all, but is there any space at all for me to do a wall inside or do anything this year? Last minute sign up.
It's been full.
It's been, okay.
Waiting list.
Waiting
Great.
list.
Okay.
Yes,
Not
they-
overall.
Yeah, I mean, we were like 75 to 80% full.
Like a week ago.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, she volunteers. Okay, are you volunteering? The volunteers can put in, one paint, is it two? Yeah, two paintings, unless they're doing the floral competition, then it's that one and one extra. So,
And what time is the floral coming?
you have to have your painting here on Friday afternoon.
This Friday, okay.
No,
No, Friday.
Yeah, but,
And when are the flowers put out?
we've already,
They're out.
yeah, we've already done.
We've done that.
So
They're on the Facebook page.
Look on the Facebook. Okay, one more question.
Wait a minute, I didn't answer the
Yeah.
first question. I don't think. Well, anyway, while I'm up here, remember, to not break down before 5 o'clock on Saturday. Okay?
It's very important.
Yeah, because if one
Do not
person
break
breaks
down
down,
before
other
5.
people start breaking down. And there are a lot of people that may have to work, don't get there till 4. And, you know, we don't.
It
want
doesn't
them
look
to-
good.
That's good. Don't
Okay.
start breaking down till.
We're gonna wrap it up. If you have any other questions, you can ask somebody here at the panel, ask Bev. It's about our show or Beverly, and let's do that. I'm gonna take one quick question, I think.
Yeah. Does anybody know if memory lane will be open by the time the show?
I don't know, when I'm planning to contact Janet today. to see if she knows, if she'll ask Sam. We'll find out.
Okay, we'll find all that out. Let's wrap it up and we're gonna, I'm gonna call out door prizes while y'all are getting refreshments and chatting. So just listen out for your name, but,